Let me show you my own wax blend and the way I prepare it. It's something I've been doing for years now, and I've been tweaking the mix so that I can get exactly what I want. And I think it's a great idea. It's not difficult at all. And as you'll see, you can really prepare the kind of product you really want to have. I've always found commercially available wax to be rather disappointing for the most part, and it never really suits my needs. There are some great examples of commercial wax, but long ago, in 2015 I believe, a teacher of mine just taught me his recipe, and since then I've been changing it and tweaking it so that I can really get what I want. And what I want is a product that it's easy to apply, that it doesn't leave sticky finger marks, that it's fairly resistant, although wax is never really, it's something you will need to maintain because it just goes away with just touching the objects you're waxing. But you can make it a little bit more resistant, and most importantly of all, it's the mix I have, it's really good for gliding properties. So whenever you're fitting a drawer or anything that it's going to be wood rubbing on wood, really likes to have a good, nice and hard wax. And this is what we're going to make. So basically there are only 3 ingredients to my wax, which is beeswax, carnauba wax and turpentine oil. And with the right combination of these, you get exactly what you want, and you can experiment with all that. Some other people add other things, but I've never found the need. And when I've done that, I've never been really convinced. So this is really simple. I think it doesn't get simpler than this, and yet it's really effective. So let's discuss beeswax first. Beeswax, basically, it's a very easy to apply wax. When I touch it, it feels a little bit sticky, and it kind of dissolves, starts kind of melting with body temperature. But it's very easy to apply, and it's obviously a natural product and very easy to obtain. Now, if we made only a wax paste, this would be really sticky. It would look not really nice. I mean, it feels kind of natural and it has a sheen, but soon enough, as soon as you start touching the waxed things you've made, let's say you've made a box, as soon as you start touching it, you will spread your fingerprints and you'll see them. So not really enough. On the other hand, here we have carnauba wax. Carnauba wax comes from a palm tree, and it's really, really hard. I think these are very small flakes, but I think you can hear this. I don't know if you can hear it, but it just breaks. It has the consistency of a hard plastic. I think you can hear that. And it's really difficult to apply because it's so hard that it can only be buffed or applied with heat. And it's used for waxing cars, luxury cars, and for many other applications, even in the food industry. So now you get a wax that is difficult to apply by very hard and hard wearing, and you could say it lasts longer on the elements you apply it to. And beeswax being very sticky and easy to apply. So we're going to mix these 2 products to get the best of each one. The beeswax will give us the easy application, and the carnauba wax, the hard wearing properties, and especially I think things glide so much better on carnauba wax because it's very hard. So I think you've seen me applying wax in some of the projects, especially in the memberships. But I'll give you just a quick run. I have an application cloth, which is nothing but a cotton cloth, and this is how it looks like, okay, once you've made it. And then simply you take a small amount of it, and it's very important to take a small amount, and you can just apply it on the surface. One of the pros of wax is that it's a glue repellent, so you can finish all the inside surfaces of your project before gluing everything together, and all the glue squeeze out won't stick, and then with the tip of a chisel you can remove everything and it just peels off very nicely. So this is one of the really good aspects of this product. Also, it's very easy to apply, as you can see. Now I'm seeing that the turpentine has almost evaporated, and I can apply it very locally, and it's a very good thing, so that I just need to wait for a couple of minutes, and when I see the turpentine has just evaporated, I can get a buffing cloth and I can buff it thoroughly. So that's very easy, it's very convenient, and that's one of the reasons Alan Peters tells us he likes that, or he liked that so much, and he applied it to all the inside surfaces of his furniture, because it's very convenient, it's easy to apply, it smells nicely, and it doesn't interfere with the natural smells of the wood. So once the turpentine is completely evaporated, you can get back the smell of the wood, and so it's a very, you could say, very respectful finish. And last but not least, it has a very uniform sheen that it's very easy to achieve. So if you are not great at French polishing, for instance, and you leave an even sheen, that usually happens with shellac. If you're not careful, you can get, shiny spots and not so shiny spots. If you apply a coat of wax on top of that, everything will become even and with a very graceful sheen, which is very nice and very tactile, although it will never be long lasting. So that's one of the downsides of wax, clearly. And I should also mention the gliding properties that I've said before. It's one of the main reasons why I use it. So anytime I want to finish, say, the inside parts of a drawer, I could decide to go with just shellac or maybe only wax, and wax will be much quicker than 6 coats of shellac. Before we start preparing the mix, I need to give you a couple of words of caution. Be very careful with turpentine oil because it is flammable, and we're going to use a flame for the double boiling. So these two elements, they should never meet in the same room, meaning when there's a flame, the turpentine oil is away and it's closed, okay? And also the vapors of this are very strong, so you want to have a very ventilated situation. So here in the workshop we have 4 windows open and the air is flowing, so I feel safe about this. But be careful and read the manufacturer's instructions to make sure you don't run into trouble, okay? Now, turpentine oil could be substituted by mineral spirits, but turpentine oil comes from pine trees, and I like it much better. So the first thing I'm going to do is to heat up the double boiling here. So I set it very low, and as you can see, I just have a pot that I constantly reuse all the time, and here there is just simple water. So it will start heating up, and I can add now both waxes. So here's the beeswax. I'm going to stop the fire now because it's already almost boiling and I can see the wax has melted. So this is the Carnauba wax now. There we go. And the hot water will maintain temperature, and so you can start mixing it. And now it's just a matter of stirring and waiting for it to dissolve, and it might take about 1 minute 30 seconds. Just make sure you don't get it to boil, just because the wax could self-combust in the same way as oil that is overheated can just catch fire on its own. So turn on the heat as soon as you think you have enough temperature, And some people use other methods that are meant specifically for wax, and so they can control the temperature much better. But I've always got away with this. Now, don't forget to subscribe to this channel and to like this video if you're finding it useful. And so if you want to know more about what I do with this wax, you can just go there. Remember, we have the membership, and you can subscribe to see all the projects we've been doing and all the projects we'll do in the future. So now this has arrived to melting point. It's completely liquid now. So now would be the time, I've already done that, it would be the time to stop the fire completely and relying on the hot water to maintain temperature on its own. And I have already the quantity I want. At the end of this video, I'm going to give you all the numbers. This is the quantity of turpentine oil I need for this blend. And now I open it and I'll start adding it to the mix gently. Not at once, because you don't want to lower down temperature too drastically. That might make clogs. So you keep adding and stirring at the same time. So if you see the wax solidifying a little bit, that's because of the loss of temperature, but you only need to wait a little bit more and it will get liquid again. And that's all fine. Okay, now that I see that everything is properly mixed, I can just pour it into a pot. Glass container for me is ideal, except when it falls to the floor and it shatters. But usually one that is not very tall and very wide, like this one, it's just great. And then it's just a matter of pouring it. And I have this funnel just for this application. Make sure your funnel is stable as well, or ask a friend to give you a hand. And that's all. Now this is liquid and you just need to let it cool down and it will be ready for use. So very easy to make. Now the recipe, I've been modifying it, and basically I've been raising up the carnauba content to up to a 50-50%. So nowadays I'm using 7 grams of beeswax, 7 grams of carnauba wax, and 50 milliliters of turpentine oil. You could try and keep raising up the carnauba wax and you would get a much harder wax, but that is more difficult to buff. Okay, so maybe there's still way to raise the carnauba content up to a point where it will be difficult to apply. But that's a very personal decision. Myself, I'm very happy with this, so 7, 7 and 50 is what I need. Alright, I hope you found this useful. Please remember to give us a thumbs up. It's great help for the channel. Remember to subscribe, and remember that we are doing lots of nice projects in the advanced membership and also in the initiation membership for beginners.